You are listening to Zen and the Art of Triathlon.
Well, hey there, all you triathlon studs and studettes. This is Coach Brett with another great episode of Zen and the Art of Triathlon. Hey, on this show, we've got pro triathlete AJ Baucco. We got a great interview with him. We go in deep on what it was like training and racing over this past year, his big road trip that he just went on, trying to keep his car together, and how he sees the current season wrapping up and what's coming up next over the next season and what kind of races he's going to do. He's the guy that won the Kona Beer Mile the night before Kona. And we talk about that, all kinds of cool stuff. So really excited to have him on the show. I've also got additional tips on how to execute a great race. After I recorded the Austin 70.3 episode last week, where I got 10th in my age group, a very competitive age group, you ever have a conversation with somebody or even an argument, and then later you're like, man, I should have said this. Well, I've got a whole bunch of things that after I was done, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to mention this and this and this. Really cool, important things that will help you have a better race, even a great race. And I collected them all together. One of them is about caffeine. I add caffeine to my fuel in a totally different way than a lot of people, and it works really, really well. So I thought I'd share that with you. So that kind of stuff is in there. And let's go ahead and get rolling. Before we do the interview, I want to mention two things. First off, we've got a new sponsor, and I'm super stoked about this. This is Amphibian Multisport out of Chicago. They're a triathlon shop. And I actually used to live in Chicago. I lived there for 2 summers. I used to work union labor one summer and the next summer testing concrete on the Sears World headquarters. This is when I was in college, doing summer work, trying to earn money for school. And the World headquarters is out of town just a little bit on the northwest side or west side. And it's in the suburbs, and it's Hoffman Estates, Illinois. And it was awesome. I loved Chicago in the summer. In the winter, you people are maniacs. I cannot believe you live up there because I've been there plenty in the winter, and that's insane. In the summer, it is the coolest city on earth. I absolutely love it. It's so multicultural and global, and so much going on. And as far as a sports town, I've never seen anything like it. I was living there when Michael Jordan was playing for the Bulls. And it was just unbelievable. And I would bounce around between Hoffman Estates, Lake Forest, and Crystal Lake, and then downtown a lot, to like a food festival or a concert. And oh my God, it was just the best time. Go swimming in Lake Michigan. And so I'm really familiar with the Chicago area. I've even done Ironman Wisconsin, and before I went and did Ironman Wisconsin, I spent a few days in Chicago, and then after that came back and spent a few days in Chicago because my brother lives in Chicago. I go every once in a while to Chicago, and you guys are by far like my favorite city to go visit. You and San Francisco together are so cool. And the email I got when I was like, hey, we're a triathlon shop based out of Chicago, you want to work with us on some advertising? You bet, dude. I love it up there. So Amphibian Multisport is actually in Libertyville, which is smack dab in the middle of all this. And what's so cool, when I started checking out their website and talking to the guy in depth, they have a pool. They have a 2-lane pool inside, so saltwater pool, by the way. And you can swing by there. And when you're trying on a wetsuit, we have a shop that's like this in the Austin area. They have a pool, so when you're shopping for different size wetsuits and different brands, you can actually swim in it, and then then you actually know that it fits. So that's the first thing you want to do. And then also, like I mentioned, the winters in Chicago are very testing, we'll say it nicely, but they have this huge training program where you can become a member, and they have group workouts, group rides, memberships, and you can use the pool and all kinds of stuff. So Amphibian Multisport in Libertyville, let me pull up their address. I'm literally over the moon about working with these guys. Bike trainer classes, 130 North Milwaukee Avenue in Libertyville, Illinois. And their website is amphibianmultisport.com. Go check them out. I want them to be a sponsor for a long time. Maybe every episode that I mention Amphibian, I can tell a story about in Chicago. I don't know, though. I was in college. It's a little wild. Maybe I should keep some of those stories to myself. My brother, we'll start with one. My brother went to Lake Forest College, and he was varsity captain of the swim team, and he was a bigwig in one of the frats, and I would go on the weekends and hang out with his frat, even though I was like a freshman in college, and in Lake Forest, Illinois, on the water, and that was just awesome. Lots and lots of cool stuff. Oh, and I also wanted to mention the Iron Baby is this Sunday. Iron Baby is a self-supported Ironman that I do every year in honor of my son, not in honor of my son being born preemie, but because my son was born preemie, 2.5 months premature, I went out and did an Ironman to show how hard I would try if I was given the opportunity to do something physical to help. And it's really frustrating with a preemie. You really can't do anything. You have to sit there, and the nurses and the doctors take care of a lot of it. And so I went and showed what I would do if somebody gave me the opportunity. And I went out and did a Ironman, my first Ironman, and it was hard. And I did it all by myself out of my house. I went to a local pool and did the swim, and then I went for a bike ride for 112 miles, and it might have been my first ever 112-mile bike ride, probably, and then ran a marathon. It was definitely my first ever marathon. I did it all in a row. It took me around 17 hours, and I did it, and it hurt. It hurt really, really bad. But I did it, and then the next year I did it again, and then I think about the third year, maybe the second year, but definitely the third year, I started taking donations for March of Dimes because they do a lot of preemie work, and it just went on and on from there. So go check out the Iron Baby page. So go to zentriathlon.com/ironbaby, and there you will find a description of the Iron Baby and a link to donate to the March of Dimes. And it's super easy. All you got to do is donate to the March of Dimes, anything that you want, tweet or something, Facebook, something that you did that. You don't have to say how much. That doesn't matter. And then with a hashtag Iron Baby, all one word, and then email me at texafornia@gmail.com, and I will take the receipts of the donations and sum up the total amount of donations, and then we can say, after I finish adding it up, then we say how much money was raised for March of Dimes by the Iron Baby. And so every year we raise somewhere between a few hundred to a few $1,000s. It just kind of depends. I haven't promoted it this much this year because I got all wrapped up in training for the Austin race. And the other thing we do is we encourage people to come do it with me. And we've had several people now finish the entire Iron Baby with me. Tri Boomer, King of Pain, M. Christian have all finished the Iron Baby full distance doing it with me. And but you can also do parts of the Iron Baby, and because it's a looping course, so you can do as much of it or as little of it as you want. I think Gary might be doing the swim with us. Phil is doing the full distance with me this year. And the other thing is, you can do your own self-supported endurance event. It doesn't even have to be a triathlon. Tweet about it and or Facebook about it, but let me know somehow so that I can retweet it use the hashtag IronBaby. Let me know. I'm at ZenTriathlon on Twitter. Let me know about it, and I'll retweet it, and we can start doing a global IronBaby kind of weekend or series of weekends. I've already got 2 I'm going to mention that are going on, and because not everybody can get to College Station, Texas, where I do this, but I also wanted to mention next year we're talking about doing Ultra Baby, which would be an Ultraman, a full-on Ultraman, solo, self-supported, here in College Station, Texas. And I know that Morgan is talking about doing it, and he and I have been talking on the phone, and he's amped, man. 3-day stage race, full-on Ultraman distance, which is really, really tough. And then when you're done, you can say that you've done an Ultraman, quote unquote. So wish us luck, and it's on Sunday morning, this Sunday, November 9th, and the weather looks nice. I'm pretty stoked about it. And follow us on Twitter. My Twitter account the day before the race, Zen Triathlon, will be really active. I'll be posting pictures while we're out marking the course and stuff. And then the day of the race, follow ZenTri Nurse, my wife, Emily, and she'll be tweeting pictures and stuff from it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the interview with AJ. Like I said, we talk about all kinds of cool things. I had a nice skeleton list of questions I wanted to ask him, but it's very free flowing. I almost said free flowing, kind of here and there, and kind of weaves around, and I try to cover all the bases. Man. Really good interview. You learn a lot about AJ, and let's get started. Here we go. Hey, you there?
Yeah, how's it going?
All right. You'd think we'd have this technology crap figured out by now.
This is better than on the phone, that's for sure.
That's true, man. It's way better. I bet it's way cheaper, too.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, everybody. I am happy to be here with pro triathlete AJ Baucco. How's it going, man?
It's going well. Thanks for having me.
Okay. I'm thank you for coming on the show, man. You've had following you on Twitter, you've had an interesting past few weeks. This road trip that you were on, where you were, I guess you were traveling from, I don't know where, but to Colorado is the end point, and you were having to either duct tape or glue the bumper of your car back onto your car.
So that car has been across country like 15 times, and like that thing like exploded last time I tried to drive it across country. Like broke down in Colorado, got stuck there for 10 days. Like basically got like a warranty on the engine. Got an entire like brand new engine in the car. Since then, it's just been sitting in Florida since then. So this was the first time I tried to drive it anywhere. And of course, as soon as I start driving it, like the freaking bumper's falling off and like
everything but the engine. Was the engine good?
The engine's great, but like the outside of that car, it's such a piece of crap car. It's just falling apart. So I have like the whole thing taped together right now. It's a mess.
Yeah, because your photos were so funny. Because at first you were kind of like smiling, right? And you're like posing next to your bumper that's falling off, and like, how stupid is this? I'm having to do this. It's kind of funny. You're still having a good time, right?
Oh yeah.
And and then after a while, the photos quit coming, and then it was just cursing.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. Well, later that night, I drove into a low-hanging pole as I was going into.
Oh no!
As I was going into a parking garage, and I had my brand new Quintana Roo PR6 on top of the car.
Oh.
I probably shouldn't say this, but yeah, I ripped the bike off the top of the roof. Luckily, it ripped the entire rack off the roof, and the bike just landed like right side up.
Yeah.
No damage to the bike.
Yeah.
The handlebars got some paint on them, some yellow paint.
Yeah.
The bike was fine. The whole rack though was screwed. I had to just leave it there on the side of the road.
That happened to a friend of mine's bike, and yeah, it partially ripped the roof rack off the top of his Mustang and dented the top of his Mustang, and his bike was fine. It was a mountain bike. And then I did it one time with an old road bike, a steel road bike, and it bent the top tube of the bike so that it kicked the front forks out a little bit.
Yeah.
And then this was before I started doing triathlon. So then my first few triathlons, I rode that thing because it was a steel frame, so I figured it might have even improved it. And people are like, wow, you're riding that thing? And I'm like, I was so new, I was doing pretty good.
Well, luckily that road trip, that was pretty much the only hassle. But that was the culmination of 9 weeks straight on the road.
Yeah.
So I was more than ready to get back here. And then I moved into a brand new place here in Colorado, and I haven't had a place in 10 years, like an actual place, like an actual lease. So I didn't own anything except for what was in my car.
Yeah.
So, I had to buy everything. I had to I spent the last basically 2 weeks buying forks and pots and pans and a couch and all that crap. So I'm pretty much stuck now.
So what do you look for in a place to live?
Well, I mean, most of the people know me. Like, I've been all over the place. I've lived in 15 different cities in the last 10 years. And usually it's just wherever I can go and get the best training. Go down to Claremont, Florida, or Tucson, or San Diego, or St. George, New Mexico, all over the place. But lately I've been kind of needing a bit more long-term stability. This year has definitely been one of those years where I just kind of woke up and was like, shit, I'm kind of old now. And I can't keep sleeping on people's couches. And there was a time where I slept 3 months, at a homestay on the couch. There were months where I slept on blow-up mattresses in people's basements. And, I can't keep doing that kind of stuff anymore. So,
yeah, there's a point where it starts to bother you.
Sure.
My sophomore year in college, I slept on a blow-up mattress for an entire year. Well, 9 months, whatever you're in school. And for the bed, I used a door on top of milk crates. So I would wake up, every morning with my back into a hard door, but at least I was up off the ground. But I mean, jeez. Yeah, after a while, you're like, I can do better, man. This sucks.
It's a bit scary now that I have I'm grounded. I can't just pack up and leave. I got a freaking couch and a TV and a table and.
Yeah, maybe you're gonna get a cabin fever, man.
I know. Well, no, it's already started to set in.
It's already started. You're freaking out.
It's only been 2 weeks, and I'm like, and this is something I've been looking forward to for years. I'm like, I cannot wait to just settle down, and now all of a sudden I am, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
But
well, at least you got a good bike habit, right? You can go ride your bike for a long ways and get the hell out of the apartment. Yeah. Is it an apartment or is it a house or what?
It's a house. Yeah, it's a house.
Oh, cool.
Outside of Boulder and Gun Barrel, which is
I've been there.
Boulder's insane. Nobody could afford to live in Boulder, but Gun Barrel's actually quite nice.
Yeah, I've been up there. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So did you try to find a place that was on a bike route or anything like that?
So I was trying to find a place just searching Craigslist and basically I had a couple places. I came here before I was heading to Kona. I came here for 2 days and I was like, all right, I'm finding a place today.
Yeah.
This place that I got popped up on Craigslist. Literally that the second it popped up on Craigslist, I saw it and I was like, that's the place I want it. Just from the location, the pictures, I went and saw it. It was awesome. And I didn't even check out exactly how close it was to the trails and stuff, but it turns out the trail starts the trail system starts about 50 yards from my house.
Yeah, that's perfect.
It's absolutely perfect. Yeah, I can run I don't even know, probably 30 miles worth of trails right from my doorstep.
Yeah, and the coolest thing about that Front Range, all those cities right there, especially Boulder, is you can do a easy workout or you can do incline.
For sure.
Yeah, my biggest improvement came when I decided to change our guest bedroom into a training room.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And so, put a trainer. Real simple, man. It only cost, I think, a total of maybe a total of not even 1,000. Whatever. I don't know what a couch costs. A few $100. So we got rid of the bed that was in there, the guest bedroom, because you only have guests rarely.
Sure.
And these are in-laws coming to spend the night or whatever, and put in there a sleeping sofa, right? So okay, and then we put in, it's not a big room at all, it's real small. We put in a treadmill and then my bike trainer.
Nice.
Just a resistance trainer. That was it. Yeah. And holy crap, the difference it made. It's insane.
That's pretty much what we got. So I got 2 bedroom, and we were gonna like I moved in with my girlfriend. We were gonna do a second bedroom, and I was like, no, no, no. I need
Yeah, you need a training room, dude.
I need a training room. Like if
Yeah,
I'm training through a Colorado winter, we got to get like.
yeah,
So right now I have the second bedroom is just like man cave / trainer room, and it's actually pretty awesome. I'm definitely digging it.
yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, with all those articles constantly about Andy Potts, training indoors.
sure, yeah. There's definitely something to it. I mean, I don't know. Like I don't, I started in the sport in Cleveland, training through the winter.
Yeah,
So I'm all right with it. Like I actually.
Yeah. Oh, and
Whatever.
he's from Michigan, right? So he knows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I don't mind. I'll ride outside. I'll actually ride outside into the 20s and 30s, but I'll run on the treadmill if it's like under 50. I don't know why I do that, but I would rather run on the treadmill inside when it's cold than ride inside. I just can't stand.
Oh, yeah, that's weird. Most people are.
Yeah.
I'm opposite of that. That's
No,
weird.
most people are. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. So you drove from Florida to Colorado.
Yeah. For
Okay.
hopefully the last time.
Oh, you never know, man. Things change. And then let's see. You were also tweeting a new hashtag, Fat Pro. So you're taking your off season seriously. You're allowing yourself to get somewhat out of shape, right?
I do the same thing every off season. It's
Yeah.
just I must be the age because like when I first got into the sport I would do the same thing. I would drink beer and I would just have a bunch of fun for a month, and I gained like 3 pounds, and now I gain like 20 pounds and it's all in my ass, and I like can't fit into jeans anymore, and it's like I don't know. It must be it must be the age thing. I don't know, but I definitely do my fair share of fun stuff in the off season, but probably
Yeah.
more so than I should.
So that leads me to my next question. I got a long list for you. This is going to be fun. So what do people assume about you that they have all wrong, that they don't know about you?
Oh man.
Because
Well,
you have to have a brand, right? Kind of as a
yeah,
pro,
sure,
and
sure.
you have a public image with all this social media.
Yeah.
So what question do you get like all the time where you're like, no, I don't do that at all. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, I definitely market myself a certain way, and it's not like it's untrue. Like, yeah, I don't know anyone that was paying attention when I was down in Kona and like doing the beer mile and having a bunch of fun, and it's not like I definitely get the rap like, oh, that guy definitely likes to have fun. He doesn't take triathlon seriously, but when everything's said and done, and I get back into my routine, I work hard. There's no doubt about it. Like I work hard, and I think a lot of people just assume that everything I do is just all fun and games, and it's traveling and hanging out with girls in Brazil and stuff like that. But there's a lot of hard work that goes into it. No one sees the 6 months of me, training, day in, day out, and up until those events.
So you're not Lionel Sanders pre-recovery.
No, not at all. And I think some people think I do, and I think they're like, oh wow, AJ could be so fast if he did actually train. But like, I definitely do train. I mean, I'm sure I could be a bit more serious in certain aspects of training.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nothing like that. It's not. I mean, maybe I was like that 10 years ago.
That's a long time ago too.
In the band days, but like it's. I'll have a beer. I'll drink a beer every night in the off season. But once we get going, I'm not as crazy as people think I am.
I just wanted to mention to you. We did an interview for people that haven't heard it. We did an interview about half a year ago or a year ago, and we played music from your band.
Oh yeah,
right? And people loved it, man. They thought that was great. And then my son took your band cover, that album cover,
yeah,
with all you guys with like mohawks and stuff,
yeah.
that portrait kind of stuff
Yeah.
of you guys leaning against a wall or whatever. And that's his wallpaper on his iPad.
That's awesome.
He's so into triathlon. It's awesome, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Every time I see that, because it's really his iPad, he plays with it the most,
Yeah.
And I pick it up and I'm like, oh my, that's so funny.
Yeah.
So anyway, people need to go back and listen to that if they want to hear music from the band that you were in.
Oh.
And let's see, goals for next year. So at Kona, you made a splash at Kona, but at the Beer Mile, and people loved it. Oh, I want to go back even again and say you tweeted something that was really profound, where maybe it was after the beer mile probably and all that craziness and stuff. And
Hopefully I wasn't still drunk.
He might have been. But it was a moment of honesty, and that's what was so cool, was like, hey, look, I like to party.
Yeah.
Some. And I'm not going to quit being me.
Yeah.
You know, to be fake, and that's who I really am. And man, that was awesome. That was actually, I think, got you more credibility than anything else. And because everybody's like that in a way,
yeah.
And a lot of people hide it, and then you're just more honest.
I think most pro triathletes hide it. I think most people in the spotlight hide it to a certain extent. I mean, that's created conflict in my life for the last 5 years. Pretty much ever since I turned pro. It's like, oh, you don't want to piss off the sponsors. You don't want to say the F word on Twitter. You don't want to fight with people. You don't want to, you know what I mean? It's just like, and it's not like every word that comes out of my mouth is the F word. Like, I'm a very educated person, but it's sometimes I just want to be myself completely, and I think that's what when we did the beer mile. We all hopped in the back of trucks and we were blasting music. We went out there, and like I had already had 4 or 5 beers before that even started. We were having fun, and the fact that there was a camera there capturing it was just like, and we weren't paying attention to that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like when you get me saying the F word and flipping off the camera, joking, I was just playing around with friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, okay, I'm not going to act that way if I was in church with my mother, but it's like, that's who I am. You know what I mean? Like, there's a time and a place for everything. And I know some people there was a couple people that were, like this, they were coming down on slow twitch. Like, this is bad for the sport. This isn't the kind of,
no, not at all. No.
I think it's bullshit. I think that's exactly the kind of press we need. Triathlon, think about how triathlon started, the bunch of guys just.
It's a rebel. Yeah,
it was bar owners and military guys, and
started out on a dare, on a bet.
Yeah, and it wasn't like it wasn't what it is now, of course. And it's triathlon back then kind of probably had that punk rock feeling, and it's definitely lost that. But to me, triathlon's still a cool sport. You know what I mean? It's still a fringe sport. We don't have to act all prim and proper because because we're and the thing is, I don't know what these pro triathletes are even worried about, because none of them are getting paid from their sponsors. They're getting effing wetsuit, or they're getting a pair of sunglasses and a helmet for free.
You're not losing that much.
They're not losing money if they be themselves.
Yeah, I remember when I came back from my first few weeks at military school, and you talk about language differences. And my mom picked me up from the airport and was driving me home, and somebody cut us off in traffic, and the language that came out of my mouth at age 15, like, and I just turned 15, so I was barely out of 14. I'll never forget the look on her face, and I was like, oh crap, I got to learn how to turn this off. around her, But
you should hear, man. When I get together with my friends from Cleveland, it's just it's the F word back and forth and every other, and it's just the way we grew up talking. It's not like we all didn't go to school and it's like we're uneducated, so we can't think of other words. Yeah. It's the culture. It's what we grew up with.
I think your image comes across as you're edgy, but you're not. You're edgy, but you've got a good heart and good direction. So it's not edgy in a bad way. You're not a bad influence. You're a good influence. You're more like be yourself and look what all you can do.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, it's not like I'm. I'm not like breaking laws. It's not like I'm getting into trouble. It's not like I'm a bad person. I'm just trying to have fun, man.
And I think that that's actually really good for the brand. That's actually what a lot of brands are looking for.
Yeah.
And is somebody that's edgy, right? Because you're pushing the limit, and people are like, man, that's pretty cool. But you're not, causing trouble, per se.
I mean, anyone that's out there just being themselves, I think gets certain recognition. It's not like Andy Potts is out there being someone he's not. Like that, I think Andy Potts acts exactly the way he is outside of, you know what I mean? He's not pretending to be anything he's not. Yeah. But I think there are guys in the sport, especially, guys that I'm good buddies with that are just like, they're really afraid step out over that line and like say anything that could offend somebody, or they'll tweet something and then delete it right away. And I've done that too, man. I've done plenty of it. Like, oh, who am I going to piss off? And I realize I'm not going to piss anybody off. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody does.
Not really. So speaking of that the fear of pissing people off, when that the Ironman CEO letter got posted.
Yeah.
Something in there really kind of freaked me out. The thing that I found not cool was that they can tax you, fine you KPR points.
The Twitter thing.
If you don't say if they think you're being not nice about the brand, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, but you're the judge and jury of what's nice and what's right. So how do we know what's right or wrong until it's too late?
I know.
And I didn't like that at all. You don't have to say anything about that. But I was just like, man.
None of us liked it. There's a lot of stuff that the WTC does that we don't like. And I'm sure there's stuff that we do that they don't like.
Oh, yeah. Do you think?
We both just have to tolerate each other at this point. Yeah. It's, honestly, like I would love to just race challenge races or take a stand until things got better. But there's not any options.
It would be just another, say Challenge was the big people in charge, they would have a different.
It would be the same thing.
It'd be the same thing, yeah. Until there's a big change where y'all have some kind of like union or something like that. I don't know what the answer is, but
I think the WTC is taking steps forward. I like the fact that the fields will be bigger and there's less. They got rid of some of those races. I don't agree with some of the races that they got rid of.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, it's a touchy subject. I mean, in the last podcast I did with the Real Starkey, I was like, yeah, you know what, I'm going to race Challenge this year. And when it comes to like iron distance racing, I'm going to just do Challenge. But all of a sudden, I'm trying to put in some halves, and I don't know where to go because there's
not enough of them.
I can't go to Australia in the winter, and there's nowhere else to race halves, so I have to do Ironman brand.
Yeah,
I don't have a choice.
Yeah,
and so that's what people don't understand when they give us shit and they're like, if you hate the system, why don't you just step out of it? There's nowhere to step to.
Yeah,
I like to race. That's it.
That's really similar to with smoking, banning smoking, and where. With wait staff, they had this big problem where like the wait staff didn't want to be around people that smoked anymore.
Sure.
Right. And so because people were coming down with cancer or whatever, or lung, all kinds of things, and they were like, well, go find another restaurant that has a non-smoking facility and go work there. And the person's like, I work in a 100,000 person town. There's 10 restaurants. That's it. There's no more. I can't go anywhere else. Yeah. The only option is smoking restaurants, and I'm a waitress. That's what I do. I don't have another profession.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing. I'm not going to go change my job because I'm upset with the pro pay or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's we're all of us. We can all of us are upset. It's not like. Yeah. I mean, at this point, I feel like I've been around long enough in pro triathlon that I know a lot of people, and it's not like a couple people are upset. I mean, everybody is upset, but nobody can do anything about it, and we all kind of know that. Mm-hmm. And next to everybody just saying F it and not racing, which will never happen because we all love to race. Like, I have buddies that even if pro racing went away, even if there was no pro field, they would still race. They would just race amateur.
Yeah, that's why we have age group field. Because people love to race.
We're the same way. I love the fact that I've kind of created a little bit of career in this, but even if I didn't, I'd still be doing the same stuff.
Yeah. So you became super famous all of a sudden, on top of being a pro triathlete for this Kona Beer Mile. And what was it really like doing that? Like, I just heard on the podcast that Dave Mira's net worth is like $15 million. If I knew that when he passed me at Galveston, I would have been like, holy crap, that dude's worth $15 million.
Cool dude.
Is he really that cool to hang out with?
Yeah, super cool. He had been drinking, we had been drinking, we were all shooting the shit, and he's talking about he's talking about Kona, and he's like, really, you could tell he's got that. He's been bitten by that bug, and he's
he's
you know what I mean? And he could be there. He could have raced. Like, he could have easily gotten one of those slots, and he's like, you know what? He's like, I don't want that. He's like, I want to earn it. I want to earn it just like this guy and just like that guy. You know what I mean? He's
totally. I understand.
Plenty handouts, and that's why he's a badass dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
He should have done the beer mile, but I'll give him a pass.
So what is it? It was 4 laps around a 200-yard track or 400-yard track.
It wasn't even a track. It was like
dirt trail.
It was like a run path. And then, like, we had to cut through, like, the middle of the run path, which was, like, over lava rock. And we had to, like, duck under a tree. Yeah. And there were, like, freaking stray cats running around. And, like...
Oh, yeah.
It was not like running on a track, that's for sure. It was... but it just made the whole thing more fun. Like, the whole...
So, how did the word get out that you were invited to come do this? Like,
it was super. It was super like on the down low. Like, so people started. It was all word of mouth because everybody was afraid that like the WTC was going to get wind of it and they were going to like shut it down somehow, or like you don't know what kind of pull they have in that town. They have a lot of pull in that town.
Sure, so yeah, they're the biggest thing in town for a while.
For sure, yeah. So it was quiet and it was word of mouth, and it was kind of like, hey, we're meeting in front of the King Cam at 5:00. Show up, and it was just like, you had to be invited by somebody, you know what I mean? So even the 30 people that came and watched, they had heard about it from whoever. And so we all show up in front of the King Cam, and like, there were a couple trucks, like the Barnana guys had a truck, and we all just piled in the back of trucks, and we didn't even know where we were going. We rolled out to the old airport. And it just had this feeling like we were doing something like super cool, like, but probably the same feeling that they got when they did like the first underwear run in Kona. Like, we're just gonna do something outrageous and like just run up and down a Leahy in our underwear. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that's what it felt like. Maybe like that first time they did it. Now it's a shit show. It's a spectacle. Yeah, they're going for the world record. This was like totally like underground. We got out there and it was one of those things is that it was quick. It was like, okay, guys, we're starting in 5 minutes. Like we were probably only there for 15 minutes total.
Yeah.
We were in and out back, we did it right at dusk, back in the trucks. And there's like people like doing like karate in the middle of this field and like exercising. And, all of a sudden like 30 people show up with like, 4 or 5 cases of beer. And it was craziness for like 10 minutes.
It had the feel, because this is so cool that y'all caught it on video.
Yeah.
Because you'll have it for the rest of your life, this thing. And it almost had the feel of like an evening surf, like a sunset surf session, because y'all were riding off in a pickup truck or something.
Yes. Yeah.
And like a beach bonfire and then a party, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of, it was so cool. And then you got this crazy ass trophy you had to lug around in the, it was like a weather vane or something.
It was a
cock.
It was a cock. Yeah, it was a cock on top of like a weather vane type thing. Yeah.
How'd you get that in your luggage back to Florida?
I carried that around the airport, man. Yeah. I carried it right in my hand, right on the plane. Right. People were looking at me like, "What the hell is that thing?" But
yeah, where else are you gonna put it?
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to get it broken.
So, goals for next year. Now you were at Kona. So that kind of gives me the feeling that you were checking it out. What is it like to race there? So in case you do qualify,
this is my second time there.
Yeah.
I know what it's about. I want to be there. That's what this is. That's what this has always been about. I've always wanted to be there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to chase any points this year. My brother's actually getting married on the same day as Kona, so I don't even know if I'm going to even be able to be there.
Oh, okay.
Definitely won't be able to race. So, I decided that I was going to take a step back and race challenge races, and do all my iron distance racing, do as challenge races. Yeah. And honestly, try to win something.
Are you going to? Did you get invited to Bahrain?
No, I honestly, well, dude, I'm like 15 pounds overweight. There's no way I could be in shape for Bahrain, but, okay. Yeah, I've never done a challenge event before. Uh-huh. So I know like some of the guys that race like Atlantic City, I think like the top 3 guys got like invited out there, and
okay. I didn't know what
I'm not exactly sure how the rest of it went, if you could just sign up for it or whatever. But, yeah, I knew that field was going to be stacked, and I need to really focus on the half distance if I'm going to be competitive at all at that distance. And that's the plan for this year. I've been doing, I don't even know, three seasons of two full seasons of Ironman racing. So this would be my third.
So how many do you have? How many Ironmans do you have under your belt now?
6, I think.
That's a good number, but you're zeroing in on how to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's the thing is like I felt like I felt like I nailed my first one. But in the second one, you learn a couple of things that were different, and then like I almost took a step backwards after. I mean, Brazil actually, execution-wise, Brazil was my best Ironman. But yeah, it's like I kind of took a few things for granted over the summer, and I wasn't as serious about triathlon this year as I have been in years past.
Yeah.
I didn't take my weight very seriously. I did not diet for 1 second the entire year. I ended up going into Chattanooga 6-7 pounds heavier than I was when I raced Brazil. And I went in with a run injury, and it was one of those things like I knew I was going to be able to do the race. My swimming was really good. My biking was good. So I thought like I had a chance, but when you get off that bike, no motivation. There's no amount of motivation that can force you to run if you don't have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I
really want it. Yeah, to run through that.
Trust me, I want it, but like, in Brazil, when I got off the bike, we were running 6:15, 6:20 pace, and it felt good. When I got off the bike in Chattanooga, I was running 7:15s, and it felt like shit. So
yeah, it
wasn't like I blew up in Chattanooga. I ran like 7-minute whatever miles the whole way. But I was never really, as soon as I got off the bike, it was basically kind of over for me. I just didn't have the run fitness to do as well as I wanted to there.
So what's your first race coming up? What are you planning on doing?
I'm not exactly sure yet. I'd like to go back and race San Juan again.
Okay, yeah.
I really enjoyed racing there. I got a buddy that lives there. I'd love to get back there. I'll probably try and do a couple halves early season, whatever they end up being. They'll probably end up being Ironman brand just because there's not really many other options. Yeah. And then I'm toying around with the idea of going out and doing Challenge Taiwan. It would definitely be a trip, but there's not many early season challenge options either, and I don't want to wait until June or July to do an Ironman. I want to go probably in April because I'll be 6 months into my training program at that point, so I'll be ready to go.
Yeah. The more of them you do, I think it depends on the athlete, but I think there's a lot of us. The more of them you do, you get better. And like I was at the point where I was doing like one a year.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my God, if I did like 2 or 3, I would get so much better because I'm learning so much, like every single one.
Yeah. You learn a lot, but no matter how you
the hell out of you. Yeah.
No matter how you swing it, Ironman's hard. It's hard physically, but it's insanely hard mentally, and you have to be in a really good place to toe the line at Ironman and really give it your best.
Yeah.
And my hat's off to the guys that can throw down 4 or 5 a year. I don't have that mental ability to just put myself through that 5 times a year.
I think in races where I'm not excited to be doing that, that race, I'll probably go up to an hour slower. And not intend to. It just happens. It's just,
you have to be hungry for it.
You're not as intense.
Yeah. And that's every race that I've ever done well at. I was very hungry for. When I did my first Ironman at Texas last year, I was very hungry for that. Mm-hmm. This year in Brazil, like I was, I didn't have the best lead up to it. I got a bike crash in February, broke my wrist, broke my ribs, like had actually a pretty terrible lead up to that race. But I was hungry for it, and I really wanted to do well there. I prepared. I thought about that race a lot through the off season, and I was successful there. Then, I just didn't have that kind of drive for the rest of the races this summer, which was honestly, it had a lot more to do with where I was in my life outside of triathlon than it had to do with actual preparation. But that actually goes hand in hand with me traveling too much and not being settled down. It kind of all became a bit overwhelming this summer. And and that the life stuff translates into triathlon so quickly and so easly.
Yeah, stress is stress.
Stress is stress. Exactly. Yeah. So
speaking of training stuff and stress, lately, let's see, the past few months, I cut down on my volume and started doing a lot more interval training, but with a lot more rest mixed in. And I have just spectacular results from doing this.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, what is your mix of interval training versus just like long workouts, or do you have a particular formula, or do you go by kind of what you feel like you need because what's kind of weak at the moment?
It's honestly it's more about addressing the limiters than anything. When I first transitioned over to Ironman, the main limiter there was strength and endurance. I didn't have the run endurance, I didn't have the strength. Plus, I had some deficiencies in my body. Muscular deficiencies from basically never lifting a weight my entire life. So that was that was the focus then. So I honestly, like, for probably a year and a half, I personally didn't do. I could probably count on one hand how many times I did a speed workout, like a track workout or something of that nature.
Yeah.
It was all that long, slow distance, and it didn't get me any faster. I was much faster before I started doing that, but it got me better at Ironman. It got me more prepared for Ironman.
Yeah, I think it gets you prepared, right? Like mentally,
for sure,
and endurance-wise in a way.
But now I'm at the point where, like, I have 6 marathons in my legs. I don't need the durability stuff as much as I did when I first transitioned into Ironman. So now it's, and this is the conversation I had with my coach, Jesse, with QT2. I want to get the speed back in my legs. And I think that's the route we're going to go this year, is more interval route. Just using swimming as an example, I had to fix a lot of the issues in my stroke before I could really even do any real intensity or volume in the water. Prior to working with Jesse, I would do a ton of volume in the water, 30,000 a week, 35,000 a week. And I was getting slower because I didn't have the correct form. I was doing a ton of things wrong. And then I switched to Jesse, started doing 10,000, 15,000 a week, which is like unheard of, 2,000 yard swims and stuff like that, and got way faster. Just because I learned how to swim correctly. So now I think I'm at the point now where I'm able to get back to that big volume, and I think that's where I'm going to go this winter, just because I've made those corrections to my stroke. And so it's definitely a mix of a lot of things. I mean, if you were lacking in, if your durability was good, but you hadn't done speed work in a while, and you start doing speed work, of course that's going to make you better.
Yeah. When I first started playing guitar, I hold the guitar wrong on the frets on my left hand, and so it's wrong technique, and you can get only so good before you hit a limiter. Like, you can't play stuff because you're not doing it right. And you have to stop and undo things and get them straight. Yeah. Sure. So let's see. You've got a camp coming up down in Florida.
Yeah.
Right?
So
how are you going to get back down to that camp?
I'm definitely going to fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely going to fly. But yeah, so like, I started my coaching company like 2 years ago. And last year we did the first Clearmont training camp. And we did it a bit different. We ended up doing, like 5 guys, but we did it over the course of like 10 days. So it was probably too long, but we did a week-long camp, and then we went down to Key West, and we did a race down there all together. And then we had like this big party in Key West at the end of it. And it was definitely a pretty like insane time. But this time we're doing things a bit different. We're just doing a 4-day camp in Clearmont again, but it's gonna be a jam-packed 4 days. I mean, we're gonna be doing a ton of clinics, seminars. We're gonna do like open water seminar. We're gonna be doing nutrition clinic, transitions, training with power, swim stroke analysis with video, running analysis with video. So we're just going to pack all of this kind of stuff in, and then on top of that, we'll be training as well. And then we're gonna, we'll end up ending the camp with like a big barbecue, and it should be a lot of fun. So
yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, so we're trying to get more people to come out, and this isn't just for my athletes. This is for anybody that wants to come down and come to Clearmont and just have fun, learn more about triathlon, get some video done, get some good training sessions in. We'll have like SAG for all the bike rides. We'll have a bike mechanic with us. We're giving out a ton of free stuff from the sponsors of the camp. We'll be giving out like a wetsuit and a power meter from Stages and stuff like that. So it should be good.
So the power meter is a big deal. So you got Stages, and have you been using them for a while?
Yeah, so I started with Stages 2 years now. 2 years ago.
Okay.
I had been using power before that. But I always had issues. I was working with the cork before, and not to say the cork was bad. I thought the cork was fine. But when I first started working with Stages, I was like kind of blown away by like the simplicity of everything.
Yeah, how simple it can be.
yes, yeah. And some people freak out at the fact that it's just it's just measuring your left leg. But unless you have some kind of like horrible accident that creates some kind of weird difference between your right leg and your left leg, like it's reading the same as anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, Stages has been awesome. Like now that I'm out in Colorado, it's even better because their headquarters is right here. It's like 4 miles from my house. I can roll over there and stop in and say hi and see what they're doing. And they've been awesome. They've been super easy to work with. My goal for this year is to get more of my athletes using power, just because it's such a good tool, and it's something that's overlooked by I feel like it's overlooked by the majority of age group triathletes.
Yeah, I worked with a coach for a while that he was a high-end coach, expensive coach, and this was 8 years ago. He's like, I will not coach you unless you have a power meter.
Yeah,
and people were like,
but they were $3,000.
Yeah, can't you coach me anyway? He's like, no, sorry. I don't do it. It's too good of a weapon to not know how to use. And there's other coaches out there that'll do it without it. So, and I'll give you a list of them.
Well, I'm honestly, I'm all for heart rate training.
Yeah, me too.
My guys could tell you, like, the heart rate training is number one. Even if we have the power meter, and this is the same thing in my personal training, I'll never go out and be like, okay, I need to ride 250 watts for this long. Like, I will look at the power numbers and I'll record them, but I always ride to the heart rate numbers, and then I just keep track of the power numbers. And I like to watch how they change over time, and the intervals this week, how they compared to the intervals last week, and then when it comes time to race, you have all this data, and then you can set the power zones based on all the data you have all year. Mm-hmm. And then I like to race in a nice mix between power and heart rate. I've done both, and I think you got to have both though, because what if your power meter goes out? What if your heart rate goes out?
Yeah, you have to know. Anytime, it's rare, but anytime I have a piece of equipment like that fail in training, mm-hmm. I'm like, use it as training, because I've had races where I've had equipment break, and you have to go by feel.
Yep.
So you need to know how to use both, or just one, or nothing, just in
totally
case.
Agree. Yeah, you have to be fine going off of feel as well. You have to know what if you're I don't know, bottom of zone 2 or whatever your zone is that you're racing Ironman is 145 beats. You have to know what 145 beats feels like, even if you don't have a heart rate telling you what that is.
Yeah.
Because what you're going to do is you're going to get out an Ironman, and all of your stuff is going to shit out on you, and you're going to freak out, and it's going to be like, oh no, what do I do now? And it's you got to race, you know what I mean? You have to still know how to pace, even if you don't have a watch telling you what to do.
Yeah, I had a bike computer, my power meter head unit, the very beginning of my second or third ever Ironman Wisconsin, just totally conk out. Mm-hmm. That's why I had nothing. I had no mileage, nothing, and a contact lens fell out. And I'm pretty blind, so
that would be tough to do.
That was a tough race. Yeah, but I'd been training by feel for years. So I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, just go.
That's Ironman though. You have to expect something to go wrong in Ironman, because you just don't go do an Ironman where nothing goes wrong. That's unheard of.
Yeah.
It's all about. This is something that my coach ingrained in my head way before I even did an Ironman. It was like, you got to roll with the punches. You got to have a tool to deal with any issue that comes up. You know what I mean? If your stomach bloats, if you drop your nutrition, whatever, you have to know, what am I going to do? If you go through the aid station and drop all the bottles of Power Bar Perform, like, what are you going to do? You're going to grab a water? Are you going to freak out? Like, you have to know what to do.
Yeah, Ironman. Once you get up to like half Ironman for sure, and then Ironman's twice as bad. But it's like it's how well you do in one of these longer races is literally how fast you can respond with the correct response.
Yes.
To the several things that are going to go wrong. The half that I just did in Austin, my front tire blew out in transition area even before the race started. So it's like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And how fast can I do it? And in just several minutes, I had a new tube in there, And then on the run, it was like, oh, my stomach hurts. What do you do? And that was just a half. And those are the two things that went wrong. I'm trying to think.
Honestly, when I talk to my athletes before they race an Ironman, that's like the number one thing I like try to ingrain in their heads is like, and this is actually, I give them scenarios, and I have them, go through the scenario. Like, if this happens, what are we going to do? Like, what's our tool? How are we going to fix it? And more importantly, like, how are we going to stay positive as we fix it? Because it's so easy to get negative during an Ironman. If you race with negativity, you'll never. I mean, that's one of the things that I struggle. I think that I talked to you about this last time I did a podcast with you. It's the mental stuff. But like, if you allow yourself to let negativity into your race, it's going to snowball. It's going to bring you down. You have to remain positive no matter what happens. Flat tire, drop nutrition, whatever.
Yeah, if you have like not just a plan B, but a plan B and a plan C,
for sure,
for every kind of scenario in an Ironman, then yeah, it's a lot easier to keep that positive mental attitude, and you go through it in your head like this could happen. That's why you carry 2 spare tubes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Carry 2 CO2s, just simple stuff.
Yeah. And then that way, if it happens once, that's okay. And then your race still isn't ruined because you still got another backup. And, at Austin, it was like the run was so freaking hot. But I had a plan. I'm like, if this run gets brutally hot, what are you going to do? And I already had a plan in mind. But that comes from the racing, right? You got to race kind of frequently in a way so that you have some experience.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's just, honestly, it's assessing the need at the point in the race, and then determining, can I deal with this need right now? Can I fix it right this second? If you can't, you just take a mental note and you fix it when you can. If I have a cramp, I don't have any salt. You're not going to freak out and start walking. You're gonna wait till you get to the next aid station. You're gonna try and get salt or some Gatorade or a banana or whatever.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's what it trains in you, is like thinking on your feet constantly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So how do people get in touch with you? Let's see, for your coaching.
Yeah.
How do they get in touch with you for that?
So we got a website. It's ajbcoaching ajbcoaching.com. And then they can email me as well, ajbcoaching@gmail.com.
Okay.
And either of those ways.
And then about how many people are you coaching a year?
Last year I was up to like 18, 19. This year I'm trying to keep it around 15. I personally have space for, 1 or 2 more people right now. But I have 2 other coaches that work for me. Ryan McCready, he's got like 10 athletes, maybe 11, something like that. And then I just hired Leslie Smith, who won Austin 70.3. Yeah. So she's all trained. She's ready to start taking on athletes. She's going to be an awesome coach. So basically, just kind of trained her into our system, just so everything's pretty uniform. But yeah, I was really looking forward to trying to hire a female coach this year, because I thought I would just bring something extra, to the service. Yeah. So. Yeah. Really excited to have her working with us. And we realistically can take, probably 10 to 15 more athletes this year. And they're definitely starting to trickle in. I think we're at about 30 right now total.
Mm-hmm.
But once January, February comes around, that's when we'll probably lock it down, and we'll probably have around 40 to 45.
Cool. Yeah. Anybody that can win that Austin race is somebody you want to talk to.
For sure.
That race is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's gonna be perfect working with us. So.
Okay, and then how do people get details on the camp? Like, how do they sign up for that?
The camp is all on the same website, so ajbcoaching.com.
Uh-huh.
There's a tab called Tri Camp. All the details are right there, and then they can register right from our website as well.
Cool.
That's the easiest way to do it.
Awesome, man. Is there anything else you want to get out there before we hang up?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Covered it all? No news? No nothing?
I think that's I think that's pretty much it. I mean, the camp should be really fun.
I saw somebody tweet that they don't even want to go to the camp. They just want to go to the party at the end.
Yeah. No, I mean, it'll be a good time. All the guys that I coach they're an extension of my personality. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's gonna hire me as a coach if they're offended by a little beer drinking, and so it'll be a fun time, especially with everybody getting together.
Oh, you'll like this. I'm doing the Iron Baby, which is a self-supported Ironman that I put on every year. I'm doing it in just a few days on Sunday morning. And the guy that lives across the street from me, a few years ago, he started his own brewery, and it got really successful. And so for the past few years, he's been one of our title sponsors, is a brewery.
Oh, nice. How many people? Is it just you, or do other people do it with you?
It's other people too. I think this year we just got 2 doing the full distance, and people can do parts or whatever, And it's really cool to have the main aid station in your front yard. And then a keg out there. And it's a lot easier to get people to show up when you're like, there's free beer. It's cool.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Just make it a party.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's how they get that's what they get down racing in Clermont. All those triathlons down in Clermont, they'll get a keg or something out on the run course, and they'll have a party at the guy's house that runs the aid station.
Yeah, that's how to do it, man.
That's the way to go.
Well, cool, man. Well, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks for having me. That's good.
All right, thanks, AJ. It's really cool having him on the show. We talked a little bit after the interview too about podcasts and how he gets some training done and all kinds of neat stuff. So he is definitely an up-and-comer and has some cool stuff going on. So go check out his camp. I also wanted to mention Amrita bars. We're going to go into training log here, and I'm going to talk about these extra tips from Austin. And I wanted to mention Amrita, AmritaHealthFoods.com, and they are my go-to snack. So what I do is I go online, go to AmritaHealthFoods.com, and I order a crap load of boxes of food, of bars, and then I put them in the pantry, and when I'm hungry, I can eat one of these and just be totally confident that I don't have anything to worry about whether it's healthy for me or not. And even though it's an energy bar and it's a lot of carbs, it's also a ton of fiber because of the dates in it. So it's not a high and then a crash. It's just a nice flow of energy, and it's a good afternoon snack. It's a good morning snack. It's a good pre-workout snack. Oh, yesterday's swim, I had an Amrita bar on the way to the pool with some coffee, and wow, man, that was a really, really good pick-me-up and gave me a lot of energy throughout the swim. They give you 15% off if you do discount code ZEN, all caps. Go to AmritaHealthFoods.com, discount code ZEN gets you 15% off, man. That's a ton. Whew. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the training log with the extra tips and such from Austin. Here we go.
You are entering the ZenTri training log zone. Huneli.
Hi everybody, my name is Brett. I'm a triathlete.
I decided it's time I got some friends more suited to my status.
But Joe, we've been friends for years.
Hey, we all make mistakes. Come on, dudes, let's go exercise! Exercise! I'm gonna do sit-ups till I poop myself!
All right, training low. Woo! Okay, so this one really isn't so much the training that I'm doing, because really between the Austin race and the Iron Baby, really don't do much. I've swam and biked some, but nothing particularly interesting going on there. But I do want to mention quite a few things. Tawny Prazak's podcast with Mark Sisson, or Sisson, I don't know. He talked about polarized training, and I don't even know if he actually called it polarized, but he was talking about that after kind of retiring as a pro, he figured out that you just go easy and then mix in some hard stuff here and there, and he was keeping up easily with and beating some other pro triathletes, and that it's a much more sustainable way of training. That's something I've been harping on lately. You should definitely go check out that podcast. Let's see. Oh, during the Austin race, Emily commented, after the race, she said that she and Kai were out on the run course, and as I ran by, I would give them a high five every once in a while. Well, kind of more like a low five, as you're running, and Kai is only like 4 feet tall. But one time I gave Emily a high five, and she said that my hands were freezing, and it was 90 degrees out there. So how are my hands freezing, and then what impact does it have? Again, the thing where you put ice water in a bottle, a bike bottle, while you're doing the run. You get one of the like 12, 16 ounce, I think they're like 16 ounce bike bottles, like a Gatorade or whatever brand bike bottle. And then as you go through aid stations, you pour ice water in it, and then you dribble it over your head between aid stations to keep cool. So Emily could tell how cool I was compared to the heat outside, which has a huge difference in how you're going to perform, because you're keeping cool, to the point of where she said my hand was actually freezing. She could tell just from a high five, right? So that's just a moment of contact, and that's how much cooler I was than the competition, which has a big impact on your finishing time. Okay, let's see. I have a disc wheel on the back of my bike, but I wanted to let people know yet again, it is a wheelbuilder.com disc wheel, and it costs like $80-something. That's it, instead of thousands of dollars for this disc cover. And then actually what it does is you get two benefits. You get the benefit of a disc, which will save you, let's say, a minute or two over a long bike ride. And then, maybe not that much, maybe 30. But anyway, there's three benefits. Another one is it looks freaking cool. And then the last one is that a disc wheel, a lot of people don't like them because the ride quality can be really harsh with a real disc, because it's so rigid and it annoys your back, for example, on a long ride. It's too harsh of a ride. Well, this, you get the ride quality of a spoked wheel, which absorbs a lot of the vibration and a lot of the jarring effect, and because it's a spoked wheel, but it just has a disc cover on it. So give wheelbuilder.com a consideration for their disc wheel. Maybe you want to do that. Super, super cheap way to get the best of both worlds. And let's see, there's a good interview on the Real Starkey podcast with Dave Mira. He mentioned with his training, he said the faster you go, the less you need to work out. And I want people to think about that. The faster you go, the more distance you cover in training, right? Well, the distance of the race you're training for doesn't change. So the more distance you cover in training in the shorter amount of time, the more effective you are in managing your time, and now the more time you have to rest and go to work and nap and recover and all kinds of stuff, because the race distance isn't changing. It's still 70.3 miles, but now you're getting the training in. I always joke about Chrissy Wellington's like, why would anybody need more than a 3-hour bike ride? Well, because she's so freaking fast, she's probably doing 100 miles in 3 hours, right? But think about that. When I started getting faster at running by doing interval work, I got faster, and then I noticed that I was knocking out 7 miles in an hour, right? And I'm still only running an hour in the evening, but now I'm getting closer to my 50 miles of running in a week without adding any more time, by actually, instead of going slower and more and more and more volume, actually work on getting faster, and you can get more distance in the same amount of time or less time. Okay, and then the upside is it gives you more time to do other things besides go train. And let's see, we did the race on Sunday. I had a day of work, and then I had to turn around and go to 2 days of meetings in Austin for work in a basement of a government building. So that was interesting. And my legs were sore, and I don't know, it was just kind of cool. And then, well, it wasn't cool, but it was interesting, the age grouper life, these things that you got to do. Like another thing is I've got the Iron Baby on Sunday, and I was going to run last night, but I had to help with Kai's homework all night because he was behind. And there goes a critical running day. And these are the kind of things that add up. So if you're an age grouper out there and you're frustrated, you can't get more training in, hey, we're all dealing with it. It's all right. And let's see. I talked to Emilio De Soto over email. He's actually on an older podcast and that I did with him. He is one of the biggest deals in triathlon that you can possibly imagine. He has come up with more innovative products. The De Soto line is so innovative for things that they've brought to triathlon. I think they invented arm coolers, for example. And it just goes on and on. And I need to get a De Soto vest. Right, so if you buy the De Soto T1 wetsuit, it's a 2-piece wetsuit. And what's so cool is you can go from full sleeve to sleeveless, right, with just a different top. You don't need 2 different wetsuits. You get the same wetsuit, but 2 different tops. So you can actually save some money there. And so I emailed him because he sponsored me with a wetsuit a while back after I swam across Lake Tahoe. He was like, okay, that's impressive. We'll give you a wetsuit. It's like swimming across the English Channel. And he's like, that's cool. We'll give you a wetsuit. Because I was wearing a 2XU wetsuit that just killed me. It hurt so bad because I'm so tall, and it cut into my wrists of all things, and into my armpits and stuff. And the De Soto won't do that. And so anyway, I want to get a vest top because I swim a lot better in sleeveless wetsuits than I do in sleeved. Personally, I just like them better. And in Texas, it's usually warmer, so you don't often need a full sleeve wetsuit. I might wear the full sleeve for the Iron Baby because it depends on the water temperature. If it's warm enough, I'll just wear sleeveless. I've got an old Xterra sleeveless that's fallen apart, right? And so Emily said, well, before you go buy the vest, why don't you email Emilio De Soto and see, didn't they sponsor you one time? Maybe you can get that vest out of them with just an email. And so I emailed him, and he said, well, actually, we're kind of low on stock like right now, and because it's wetsuit season, but I can give you a discount. It was a big discount. And I said, thanks, man. That's really cool because, I'm just an age grouper. So I said, hey, thanks. And I'll mention you on the show and all kinds of stuff. And I do mention De Soto on the show a lot. And then I said, by the way, check this out. I don't know if I ever told you, but I swam 2.4 miles open water across Lake Bryan and back, all butterfly, in one of your wetsuits. The full sleeved wetsuit. That's how much flexibility there is in the shoulders of these things, and what you can do with a 2-piece wetsuit. Go try to swim butterfly in a wetsuit, a sleeved wetsuit, and watch what happens. It is brutal, right? Well, I did it for 2.4 miles across Lake Bryan a year ago, and Emilio emailed me back. There was this long pause, and then he emailed me back, and he goes, holy crap, that's pretty rad. I've swam a mile open water butterfly, but I've never done 2.4 miles. That's legit. And I was like, thanks, man. I like to over-deliver. So that's on a blog post about a year ago. There's photos of me doing that. And I'd like to give a shout-out to De Soto Wetsuits and for sponsoring ZenTri and helping us out as much as we can. It really is just a fantastic wetsuit, and the fact that it's 2-piece is awesome. So go check that out. Yeah, and I need to get my arms pulled. My next project on my bike fit is to get my arms pulled together closer. They're spread out at the elbow and the wrist a little much, and I'd like to pull them in. I don't know if I can do that with the same bike. The diet results. So I've talked a lot about eating high carb before, during, and after workouts, and then immediately tapering off and then eating like super healthy. It is fantastic. I'm continuing to have really great results. I'm never hungry. I feel like I'm getting fantastic workouts in. I'm putting on muscle. I'm having these weird symptoms of body composition change. Like even though I weigh the same, my watch band is getting looser on my wrist, which means I'm losing body fat in like areas where on me it seems to collect or something. And even though I'm not hungry, I'm staying the exact same weight. I'm actually eating all I want. And let's see, yeah, my waist is trimmed up, and I just feel so happy. I feel like I've got it figured out, and it really, really is nice. And one of the things is to eat a little bit more protein during when you're eating healthy, away from the workouts, up the protein a little bit, and that seems to be really nice. And yeah, I'm just stoked about that. Oh, on the half Ironman, I'm wearing this Amrita jersey, and before I've had it where it'll ride up on my belly just a little bit to my midsection, and it'll expose my lower midsection because I carry a little bit. If I carry fat, that's where I carry it. I have a little spare tire that likes to grow around my lower abs, and this race, I've been eating like this for quite a while now, and this race, my jersey never rode up. It just fit perfectly, and that's another weird symptom of body composition changes. It's really cool. And then also in the race pictures from Austin, this style of training, the polarized intervals, carbs during workouts, getting away from carbs, away from workouts, it's put on muscle on me. And then in these race pictures, you can tell I look stronger, and I definitely look energetic and happy. My finish line photos, my running photos, I actually look like I'm running, and I look strong, and it's definitely different than a lot of races where you start coming apart and you're just trying to hold it together. And you can tell in the photos, the body composition's different. And like Macca would say, he can tell going into a race whether or not people are overtrained, too skinny, they don't have enough muscle on them, they've lost too much fat. Brett Sutton says the same thing. And in these photos, of course, I'd always like to be leaner and have six-pack abs and all this other stuff. But in these photos, man, I just look so much better, and I really like it. So there's a finish line photo of me on the blog at ZenTriathlon.com. Between the race, after the race was over, like I was saying, I was really sore in my hamstrings, and that's from running uphill on the run course. And the timing of the Austin half and then the Iron Baby, it was pretty much to take 2 weeks off and not really train that much, just kind of sporadically, and then use the Austin half as training for the Iron Baby, and that seems to be working out pretty good. Otherwise, if I'd started doing too much, then the Iron Baby I would be sucking it up big time. Polarized training is not minimalist training. I wanted to mention that. There's still plenty of volume in polarized training, so you don't have to worry about trying to be... polarized is not a catchy phrase, trademark. This one crazy tip will make your doctors hate you, and grow your penis size or something like that. It's not like that. Polarized has been around forever, and it's very effective. It seems to have been lost lately, and it's coming back to the surface. So there's lots out there on how to train polarized. Jordan Rapp, I sent him a tweet asking his fueling for his races, and he tweeted back the link to his fueling plans. He's sponsored by a fueling company, so he tweets out links to what he used. And my question to him was, hey, do you actually eat fat during the race or not? Because you could add like coconut oil and stuff like that. And he said, no, not during the race, but plenty the morning of. And what that is it's been proven that if you eat fat, then your body starts metabolizing fat. It triggers fat burning. Just like carbs, if you ate just straight carbs, you would go into just a carb burning frenzy and probably run out of energy pretty quick, right? You have a high and then a crash. So fat burning gives you stable energy. So what you do the morning of the race is you make sure there's plenty of fat in what you're eating. So let's say whole fat milk, some coconut milk, coconut oil, something kind of greasy maybe. I don't know. Not so greasy, you need to go number 2. But consider that his breakfast before a race has plenty of fat in it, and it kind of gets you started on a level energy for a long day of training, energy level, and I think that's it. Oh, my caffeine trick. Okay, so you can order matcha powder or maca matcha. Anyway, green tea powder, and then you can spoon it out of the bag. If you go to Amazon.com, you can order it, because I went to the store and tried to find it, and it's pretty hard to find. For whatever reason, grocery stores don't carry this in Texas, and probably maybe other parts of the world, it's pretty common. But basically, green tea powder is actually an ingredient that people add to foods. I don't know what food, but to give it a little caffeine kick and a green tea flavor. And green tea is actually pretty healthy for you, and it's loaded with caffeine. So in my fuel bottle for the race, I did 400 calories per hour, and I did a couple, about a third of a tablespoon, I don't know if it was even that much, of matcha powder, green tea powder, right? And then shook it up, it's all in there. So I've got a level of caffeine in there that's good for the entire race, or at least the bike portion, and kind of into the run some. And I've got to say, green tea powder, matcha powder, is a energy. It's a kind of caffeine that is nice, man. It's really good stuff. It makes you feel good. And you know that it's actually pretty healthy because it's green. And actually, green tea has, I think it's got some fluoride in it. So it's green tea is actually good for your teeth. And maybe it helps cut down on the tooth damage from all that sugary fuel. But I do this all the time. I do, I go out on a long bike ride. Instead of messing with caffeine and caffeinated gels, all that synthetic kind of crap that they put in there, I do green matcha powder in my stuff. And sometimes when I make a green smoothie, I'll put green matcha powder in the green smoothie, right? Because it's green. And it really works. So I know that Tawny goes out and gets some of this matcha powder. You can do a spoonful of it into a cup of hot water, and you've got green tea. It's really good stuff. There's 2 different levels of it. There's like culinary grade, and then there's a ceremonial grade, which is just, how nice of the good quality tea it is. If you're really picky, you get the ceremonial grade, I think. But basically it's the same kind of stuff. And you can find it on Amazon.com and have it delivered straight to your door, and it lasts a long time. So definitely try that out. Okay, let's go back. I think we're done with the training log, and we need to wrap up the show. Go back to my show notes. And, we need to read donations and tips. Let's see. And let's get over to those. I got a long list of donations. Okay. You can help support the show in... Oh, wait. No, I had a couple more things. No, one more thing. There's a running tip. If you're really tall like I am, I'm 6'3". I came across running cadence stuff, and I've always been struggling trying to get my run cadence into the low 90s. like they say it should be. Well, it turns out if you're tall, high 80s is about as good as you can get. And I'm like, oh, well, that explains a lot. So I've always suspected that, and it's true. So if you're on the taller end of things, the closer you can get to the 80s in your run cadence. So I thought I'd share that with people. Okay, donations. You can support Zen and the Art of Triathlon by going to the left side of the page, zentriathlon.com, and there's a donation link. And if you donate to the show, I mention your name, and also you get the chance to send an email in, and I'll read it off and give you some props. And people love having their name read off on the show, and I love doing it. And your donations totally support Zen and the Art of Triathlon, and it goes straight into the gear. Emily leaves the donation money alone, and it goes right into buying gear and equipment and bandwidth and all kinds of stuff for triathlon training, which you all know is not cheap. So I can't tell you how much I really appreciate show donations. You can do one-time donation, or you can become a recurring donor, and let's read some of them off here. And then also we got a couple notes for some people. And Miko Nyman, I hope I'm saying Miko right, Mikko, is a donor. Spiros Fetsis, how's it going, man? Donation. Dwayne Morin, how's it going? Daniel Stark, longtime donor. Vince Hancock, thank you. And then we have one with a note from Michael, the determined German Kaiser. Okay. Hey, Brett, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Oh, he ordered Hornet Juice. I'll tell you about that after this. Thank you for asking. Austin was my first 70.3 last year. I met your wife on the bike course. Emily did the ZenTri nurse did the 70.3 last year. And I met you and Kai on the run course. It was a tough race last year. Yeah, man, that was hot and humid last year. But I heard from my Tri Club members this year was even rougher. No, I think last year was harder. I am finally back in consistent training after a 2 months break due to petechial tendonitis. Ugh, that doesn't sound good. And have a great weekend. Mike, thanks, dude. Yeah, Austin was kind of a rough course. It was raining at the start last year. And thanks, Mike. And you can order Hornet Juice by going to the right side of the page. And that's the same thing. You get a crazy, awesome working protein powder mix that enables fat burning really well. And it's Hornet Juice. It's made from the Japanese hornet saliva formula. It is really crazy how this stuff works, and it works really well. I get a ton of return buyers come back, and the you get something cool, and the funds that I get from it go right back into supporting ZenTri. And I send you an email when I send it to you, asking how you're doing, and what's going on. And that's what this is right here. A reply. Cool. So you get an email from me, and I read your stuff on the show. So that's another opportunity to support ZenTri. And let's see, I got more over here. Hold on just a second. All right, we have Jason Drury. How's it going? Brian Kemper, Todd Endicott, Dan Machia, and then we have Jonathan Dodd. This is a cool one. Thanks, Brett. This is my second order of Hornet Juice. This stuff is bomb diggity. I really enjoy your podcast. Keep up the good work. Cool, man. Thanks. And Jessica Woodruff, Allison Frutos, M. Webb, Keith Burtis. What's going on, dude? Listen to his podcast, the Do You Try podcast. DU, as in duathlon. Patrick Byer. Let's see. Hi, Brett. I have been enjoying your podcast for over a year now. I love the way you don't take things too seriously, just seriously enough. That's right. Remember, I'm a serious triathlete. But I do take things seriously enough, but no more. And I really appreciate the fact that you are not pitching a single solution and remain very open to new ideas and adapting your perspective as you learn more. That's exactly right on. I'm glad you picked up on that. I have a question for you that is simple, but simultaneously stubbornly complex. What is the optimal way to lose weight steadily while training regularly? By way of background, I started cycling 3 years ago, working up 200 miles per week. Whoa. Over the course of 2 years of training, beginning last summer, I started running swimming regularly and found out that my endurance from cycling translated over very well. That's true. I'm reading all this so we get a background on how much he's working out to see what he's doing to lose weight anyway. My first things that seemed possible 3 years ago. Over the past 3+ years, I brought my weight down from 245 to 205. Good job, dude. And then would like to get down to 175. Okay, so basically, I'm reading a little bit more here. He's had a hard time getting past that point. Sometimes we'll gain weight and routine. Oh, that's sweet intensity. Okay. This is what I've learned over the years, because I had the same thing. I used to weigh 235 to 240, and I got down to about 195, and then couldn't get any further. And so this happened to me too, and I stayed there for years trying to figure out what it was. And then, so what got me down to, one thing I did is to break through that, I went vegan, and then I was starving all the time. But vegan like with veggies, not vegan as in, because Oreos are freaking vegan. No meat pizza. I'm talking about, I went like super healthy vegan, and I got down to 168 or something like that, but then I was starving all the time. And so that's not really the way to do it. That's not sustainable. I'm not saying vegan isn't, but basically not eating enough calories, and then I was hungry and I was tired all the time. So after quitting that, after a while, I tried to figure out what to do, and then what's worked for me is doing intensity, so doing intervals. He mentions that he's kind of doing that later in his email. So what I started doing was intervals, really hard intervals, but short during workouts. And then, but then you have to make sure that you do more reps, because you can't do the same amount of volume, because it sounds like you're doing tons of volume. What's happening is you're doing tons of volume, and you're probably eating lots of carbs just kind of around the clock to fuel that volume. Well, then that stimulates your body to store some of that as fat, because it's just and the intensity probably isn't strong enough. And it's just lots of volume, kind of moderate intensity, and you need a lot of carbs to fuel that. But then your body stores those carbs as extra fat, and so, because it's a hormonal kind of thing, and you can't win against that. So what I figured out is less volume so that you can do more intensity, and then the intensity you do really freaking hard, that puts on muscle, and then you time your carbs with your workouts, and then as you get away from your workouts, what I've been talking about, you eat healthy, and then you'll start to notice you put on more muscle. That burns the extra carbs off around the clock, and you get more sleep and everything. So now it's more like carb timing along with your workouts, with intensity, puts on muscle, trims your body up, and you lose the extra weight, and gets you lean and stronger and sleeping better and all kinds of cool stuff. So I want you to give that a try. I mentioned on Twitter a while back that I can do phone calls. If people want to call me and we talk about your exact thing, then you can do that. Just send me an email. And he said, P.S. I really like the ZenTri office hours idea. That's what I called it. I'd be eager to pick your brain in more detail once you get that going. It's going, dude. Give me a call. I'd love to do that. And then I can give you examples of like exactly how to do this. And it's worth trying, man. You got to keep trying things until you find something that works for you. And the same thing doesn't work for everybody. You know, it's just like music. Some people are motivated by one kind of music. I love listening to heavy metal to get me in the mood to work out and during a workout. And some people they would rather get hit in the head with a baseball bat. And they have their own kind of music. So you got to find what works for you. Where'd my donations go? Carrie Honing, Brooks Green in Nebraska. I love Nebraska. Connor Sanders and John Schreiber and William Beck. All donors. Let me read those again. Carrie Honing, Brooks Green in Nebraska, and Connor Sanders, and John Schreiber, and William Beck. All of you, thank you so much for donating to Zen and the Art of Triathlon. It's a big deal to help support this show, and that you guys and girls that donate, guys to me is just kind of everybody, you supporting the show is so nice, and it gets me so motivated to share more and more stuff that I've learned over the years with you so that you can go out and have kick-ass workouts. If you found that the stuff I mentioned on this show helps you get training done, consider going to zentriathlon.com over on the left-hand side and throwing a donation the way of the show, and it really does help. Okay, I think that's it for this episode. No, I had an email from somebody that is doing their own self-supported Iron Baby where they live, I think over in England. Let me dig it up real quick. I want to read that before we go. Okay, got the email. This is from, let's see, Scott Turner. And where did he do it? Well, Maryland. So Scott Turner sent me this. This is really cool. Iron Baby Near and Far Campaign. Hey Brett, I am writing to make a submission to the Iron Baby Near and Far Campaign. As you may recall, I raced Praise Man this past weekend, a 70.3 of my own creation. Hell yeah, dude. This is awesome. Well, the results are in. I wanted to share them with you as per your request on the show. Before I give you my numbers, I wanted to share 2 important points of information. Here's your qualifiers right here. Once, these numbers come from the timestamps on photos and my text messages my family/support crew were sending throughout the day. Unfortunately, as I was coming out of T2, my watch froze, almost literally. Don't worry, it's not a Sunto. And the file carrying my race times was corrupted and lost. That's all right, because he's got photos and friends that were there. So Scott, write your stuff down and keep it somewhere so you have it. And let's see. The file carrier was corrupted and lost, so using other means, we pulled together the times with accuracy that I feel is pretty strong, very strong on, he says. Second, my race was under some extreme conditions. I knew I was going to be cold here in Maryland. Average temperature for race day was 47 degrees. But what I didn't count on was the wind. I was fighting through such a constant head crosswind of 10 mile per hour that I was hit by gusts as much of 25 miles per hour in that cold. There was a moment where I actually thought a gust of wind was going to take my bike out from under me. Yeah, now you got a real race, buddy. Good job, dude. Yeah, that front was pretty crazy. I heard about it actually coming through the East Coast. Okay, enough babble. Here's my times. Swim, 31 minutes. Very respectable, man. Good job. T1, 5 minutes, 30 seconds. Yeah. And bike, 3 hours, 8 minutes with 2,500 feet of elevation gain. And then all that wind, right? That's pretty legit, man. That's good bike time. T2, 2 minutes. That's really fast. And run 2 hours, which is both good, and then also it may be great because I don't know what kind of elevation gain you had on that thing. So total time, 5 hours and 46 minutes in pretty tough conditions, man. And let's see. Thanks so much for the help so far. Yeah, on the overall times with self-supported races, sometimes you got to consider that you may be a lot faster. Because you got to kind of run these aid stations yourselves, and it takes extra time and stuff. So, give yourself a little bit even extra credit on some of these times. I know at the Iron Baby we're going to do on Sunday, it could be faster, it could be slower than an actual Ironman, kind of depending on how the aid station stuff goes. Okay, so he says, thanks so much for all your help so far. And especially the words of wisdom the other night on Twitter. Oh, he was the guy that tweeted me and said, I'm worried I may not be able to do as good as I want in my race. And I tweeted back, who's going to die if you don't do as good as you want? Who cares, man? It's all about just doing it, man. And he said, thanks for that. I'm pleased to report I came in at only 11 minutes slower than my goal time. See? And these numbers clearly tell me where I need to put my work in my off season. That's a good thing right there. And good luck with the proper Iron Baby. And I hope someday to join you for it. And as always, my best to Emily and Kai. Hey, Scott, huge props to you for putting on your own half Ironman and getting it done. And where you live, that's really the whole spirit of the thing. And letting me know so that I can get this out there for other people to know. All right, so that's Scott Turner in Maryland. Pretty cool. Freaking really cool, man. That's the spirit. And again, as we wrap up the show, don't forget to support the Iron Baby, full Ironman that we're putting on November 9th. Hashtag Iron Baby, tweet it, support it. Consider donating, if you like, to the March of Dimes. That's our charity of choice. And you can donate to your own charity and just let me know who you donated to and how much. Send me an email with the receipt of your donation. You know, they always send you an email. Thanks for donating. And I add them up in a spreadsheet and kind of categorize them. You know, there's like a total and then per charity that you donated to if you didn't do March of Dimes. And go out and do something. Maybe we should also be adding up miles, swam, biked, and ran for the Iron Baby. Let's do that. That's a freaking good idea, Brett. That's a really good idea. And then we can start going global, and then you don't have to travel anywhere to go do this. You can do it. The spirit of the Iron Baby is to do it on your own, to show how much you would do if given the opportunity to help out, how much you could do and you would do. And a triathlon is a great way to do it. It doesn't even have to be a triathlon. It can be a swim, bike, or a run, something cool. All right, that's it for this episode. Next episode will be the Iron Baby itself, and we're going to detail that, how we got it done, and what it's like. It'll be the 10th annual Iron Baby. Super stoked to bring that to you. All right, and thanks again, AJ, for being on the show. And if you are somebody in the industry that wants to get a word out, send me an email. We can set up an interview. We can do all kinds of cool things. All right, that's it. Everybody stay safe out there. Work the uphills, cruise the downhills, and keep the rubber side down. Out.